Hi, I'm Lisa Leiter. In Chicago Business Today, the Blagojevich verdict. Yesterday's sweeping conviction of former Governor Rod Blagojevich has many wondering about the state of Illinois, its reputation, and the future of politics and business here. The news comes at a time when several big companies are already considering leaving because of taxes, tarnishing the image of a state that already has a severe budget deficit and unfunded pension liabilities. I sat down with Dick Simpson, UIC professor and head of political science, to talk more about yesterday's verdict and where Illinois goes from here. With this verdict, it was so sweeping. Do you think that it will end the culture of corruption in our state? Does it wipe the slate clean, or does it only draw more attention to this kind of behavior?
This trial only draws attention to the problem. It did cause the state legislature to introduce 2 or 3 bills on campaign finance and freedom of information. It has caused more transparency locally, for instance, with Mayor Emanuel and his new administration. But none of these are adequate to end the culture of corruption.
So there's still a little bit of business as usual. I mean, what do you think now will happen in order to try to change that?
You have to set a tone. You have to let the employees know that they're going to be disciplined if they engage in corruption. You have to change a fundamental culture of corruption, and that includes some very broad things. For instance, we no longer teach civics in the public schools in Chicago. We should not only be teaching civics, like what branches of government there are, but also teaching about corruption. It's a 20-year project to change the corruption in Illinois. Not a single verdict, not a single election, not a single law.
And what about from a business perspective? I mean, the state is already under fire for this corporate tax increase. You have companies like Caterpillar, CME Group, saying that they may have to leave the state because of that. How do you think corporate America views the state of Illinois, given this verdict?
Well, we know, not just from this verdict, that Illinois is the most corrupt state in the country and Chicago is the most corrupt city. We have some competitors like Louisiana and New Jersey, but none of those are well-developed states either. Some other cities like Miami that are very corrupt. But Chicago leads in corruption. Now, business in general is willing to put up with corruption if they can sort of calculate it into their business model. If they know what are going to be costs of bribes, they will just build it into their equation. But it is a problem, and there are a number of businessmen who, given the choice, would prefer not to be in a corrupt state. The cost of corruption to the taxpayers is about $500 million a year in cronyism, corruption, patronage, and waste that is all built into the same machine politics system that we've developed over all these many years.
$500 million a year of corruption costs. Why isn't there more outrage, you think, among the people of Illinois?
Well, it's very sporadic. After the last arrest of Blagojevich, there was a sudden upsurge and there was some good steps taken. The commission that was appointed by Governor Quinn, headed by Pat Collins, made excellent suggestions. I would endorse all of them. But these are sporadic outbreaks that always occur after corruption trials. Corruption trials only give us the momentum to do something. They don't cause us to do something, and they don't allow us to do something that would be comprehensive. We need a new anti-corruption effort. New organizations or revived organizations like the Better Government Association are making a major difference. Universities like mine are investing resources to document the corruption. But it's a long process. Like I say, we need a 20-year commitment, not a 20-second commitment.
And how confident are you that even over time we could overcome this culture of corruption?
It's been done other places, many other places. In fact, there are cases like Hong Kong, there are cases like Sydney that used to be among the most corrupt cities in the world, and they have reformed. It's not that we don't know what to do, although it's not a simple silver bullet. We do know what to do to cure corruption. We could do it. We have to have the civic will, just as we did with the Burnham Plan. It's not there yet. It's only partially there, so we make only partial gains.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your insights.
My pleasure.
And that's this edition of Chicago Business Today. For more local business news, be sure to stick with chicagobusiness.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.